My daughter was waving and smiling at me as the train was pulling away. It had been about 2 months since she last saw my husband, so she must have been excited to visit him. I sent a message to my husband just as my daughter was getting on the train. About 4 hours later, when I got home, my daughter called me. I had told her to call when she arrived, so I thought she was just letting me know she got there. "Hi, Sarah. Did you make it to San Francisco and see your dad?" I asked her, but she replied in a sad voice with something I wasn't expecting. "Mom, can you come and pick me up, please?" "What? What happened?" "I didn't get to see Dad." "What do you mean?" "I don't know, but I haven't heard from him. When I went to his house, a strange woman wouldn't let me in." "What?" "My name is Liddy. I'm married to Robert, and we have an 11-year-old daughter named Sarah. I had Sarah while I was still in college, so I'm 32 now. After Sarah was born, I finished college with help from my parents. Since then, I've been a stay-at-home mom. Because of the unexpected pregnancy and early marriage, people around us were worried and confused, and it was a tough time. Robert told me he always planned to marry me. It was just a matter of time. After I graduated, Robert got a good job at a well-known company. With a decent salary and company housing, we didn't have to struggle financially and lived happily together. We didn't have a honeymoon phase, but our daughter was so beautiful that it didn't matter. My husband loved her dearly and always took care of her on weekends, which gave me a chance to relax and hang out with my friends. I didn't have to worry about getting dressed up or anything like that. I was happy with our life. As time went by quickly, our daughter started elementary school. By then, my husband had been working at the same company for about 7 years and had moved up in his job. He had more responsibilities and came home later and later, but we still went on family road trips on weekends and made lots of great memories. We enjoyed many happy days together and thought this happiness would last for a long time. One day, while everything was going well, my husband's company decided to transfer him to a new location. Despite our concerns about him moving, especially since our daughter is now 11, his job was too important to ignore. He had previously refused to move because our daughter was younger, but that was no longer a valid reason. This new job was crucial for his career. His company is large, so they have many people who could take his place. But this move was necessary for him to advance further in his career. With our daughter going into junior high and high school soon, and with future college expenses to consider, I agreed to the transfer, hoping it would help him in the long run. I was told the assignment would last about 6 months, which seemed manageable. Our daughter was worried about being apart from her dad, as she loves him very much. My husband promised her he would call every day, do his best to keep her from feeling lonely, and even meet up with her on weekends. I know he cares deeply about his family, and even if he's living away from us, he will still make time for our daughter. She said, "Okay, I'll be sad that I won't see Daddy as much as I'd like, but I'll manage." My daughter and I waved goodbye to him with smiles. About 3 days later, my husband called us on a video phone and spent a long time talking with our daughter. He called before she even started to miss him. It was so cute and heartwarming to see them chatting. It felt like my husband and daughter were really close. During the first weekend, he was too busy to visit, but the next week, he managed to come home on Friday. I was really grateful for his effort to spend time with us despite his busy schedule. My daughter was thrilled to have dinner with him after such a long time. However, about 2 months after he started his new job, his behavior changed. He used to call our daughter for a video chat every 3 days, but those calls became less frequent and then stopped altogether. I knew he was busy with work and managing everything on his own, so I didn't want to pressure him too much to stay in touch. I figured once he settled into his new job, he'd have more chances to socialize with his colleagues. Even though I didn't push him to call, his contact with us became rare, and he started coming home less often. I told my daughter that her dad was busy, but I could see she was upset, even if she didn't say it. I knew he was swamped, but I asked him to call her for even just 5 minutes, as she seemed lonely at home. My husband apologized but didn't follow through with the calls. Her birthday was coming up this Saturday, and I hoped he might come home to surprise her. She even said, "Maybe Daddy will come home." But on her birthday, he didn't come or even call to wish her a happy birthday. My daughter was very disappointed. I was so frustrated that I called him several times and left messages. Lately, he hadn't been answering my calls or returning them. After about the 5th call, he finally answered. "What's going on? You've been calling me a lot." What are you doing? What do you mean? It was Sarah's birthday today. It's Saturday and you didn't come home or even call to wish her a happy birthday. Oh, I'm really sorry about that. Sarah hasn't seen you in a long time. She was looking forward to seeing you for her birthday. Tell her I'm very sorry and that I wish her a happy birthday. No matter what I said, all he did was apologize. I was so angry that I hung up the phone and sent him a message saying, "Please think about your daughter and take better care of her. You may be busy, but I think you're being disrespectful." All he replied with was, "I understand. I'm sorry." Things didn't get any better. Another month passed and summer vacation started for my daughter. Recently, she told me that if her father couldn't come to see her, she would go to see him herself. She had been saying this every day since vacation began, so I decided to let her visit him on her own. She was excited about it and eager to try something new. We live in Los Angeles and my husband is in San Francisco. She could easily get there by train, and I would drive her to the station. I called my husband to arrange for him to pick her up at the other station, and he agreed. On Saturday, I saw her off as she waved to me with a big smile. It had been 2 months since she last saw her dad, so she must have been really looking forward to this visit. I sent a message to my husband just as my daughter got on the train. About 4 hours later, after I had gotten home, my daughter called me. It was around noon, and since she had left early in the morning, I figured she must have already met up with my husband and had lunch before calling. "Hi, Sarah. Did you get to San Francisco and see your dad?" But she said something unexpected and unhappy. "Mom, please come and pick me up right now." "What? What's wrong?" "I didn't see Daddy." "What do you mean?" "I don't know, but I haven't heard from him. When I got to his house, a strange woman turned me away." "What? What did she just say?" "I needed to pick up my daughter as soon as possible." "Where are you?" "I'm back at the San Francisco station. I'm hanging out in a fast food restaurant for now." I quickly got in the car and drove to the station. There, I bought a ticket and took the next train to San Francisco. When I finally arrived, my daughter was looking at me with tears in her eyes. We went to a nearby cafe. She was feeling down, so I ordered some famous local pancakes. When the pancakes arrived, her face brightened a bit. She seemed to enjoy them and looked a little more relaxed. I then asked her what had happened. According to her story, she couldn't reach my husband at all when she arrived at the San Francisco station. She waited for about 30 minutes, but he never showed up. So she decided to go to his house by herself. I had given her his address just in case something went wrong. Since she's really good with her smartphone, she easily found her way there using a map. When she arrived and rang the doorbell, a woman's voice answered, asking, "Who are you?" My daughter, surprised, said, "I'm here to see my dad." The woman told her to go home and not to bother seeing Daddy because she was in the way. The woman then hung up without even opening the door. So my daughter returned to the San Francisco station. I was so furious that I couldn't hold it in any longer. "If she told you not to see your dad, then we won't," I said. I took my daughter home and immediately started making plans to move out. When I told my parents what happened, they were very angry and offered to help in any way they could. For now, they let us stay with them until I could find a job. My husband called and said, "I didn't see Sarah at the station. Did something happen?" I guess the woman involved in his affair didn't tell him she had turned away his daughter. Since I hadn't received any calls from my husband on Sarah's phone when I went to pick her up, I doubted he even went to the station. I was stunned and decided to let it go for now. "Sarah got sick on the way there and had to come back," I said. "We just finished at the hospital, and I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to call you." He replied, "I see, I understand." I ended the call, saying I'd reach out if anything else came up. I was furious because it was clear he was just pretending to be concerned. For now, I decided to focus on taking action. I first sent his belongings to his address. Then, I received the results from the detective agency I had hired. I sent proof of the affair along with a certified letter to my husband's workplace. A few days later, everything should have arrived. My husband called me, sounding frantic. "Oh hey, what's going on?" "What? I just wanted to let you know what you've been up to." "Are you kidding me? We're in the middle of a huge mess here." "Of course it is. That's exactly what I was trying to show. And I can't believe you're sending my stuff here. I don't need your things, and I don't even pay rent anymore." "What?" "Sarah and I moved out of that apartment." "Oh, you moved out of the rental? When did you leave?" "About a month ago." "What? So no one has been living there for a month, and we still had to pay the rent. Well, that's true, but it's under your name, so it's not my concern. No, you're going to be 2 months behind on rent and might get evicted. Is that why I've been getting calls from an unknown number? We'll be in trouble if we lose that apartment. Why don't you just stay in San Francisco? You sent a certified letter to the company. I'm in big trouble because they found out about my affair. They're going to call someone from headquarters to replace me and move me back to Los Angeles. If you send all my stuff, it'll be hard for me to go back to Los Angeles, especially since I don't have a home there. I nearly laughed because the plan worked even better than I'd hoped. But I quickly composed myself and said, "You've hurt Sarah and me so much that you'll have to face the consequences. I'm filing for divorce, and I'll be seeking alimony and child support." "Oh no, let's just handle this through the lawyers and get it over with," I said, then hung up the phone. I hired a lawyer and everything went as planned. The divorce was finalized smoothly and I secured alimony and child support from my ex-husband. His return from the transfer because of the affair became a source of ridicule at his company. Female employees gave him harsh looks. He can no longer expect any promotions but can't quit because he needs to pay alimony and child support. He must be feeling deeply ashamed. My daughter, disillusioned with her father, refused to see him even when he apologized and wanted to visit. He really deserves it. I found a job, and my daughter and I are now happily living together in a new apartment. I'm focused on supporting her and watching her grow up.